Yep, yep. Not to mention that the fact that there's a lot of Gnosticism, right, involved in the background of a lot of these, including in religion. They played that down, right? The Gnostic origins of Christianity have been massively played down. I'm an anti-Gnostic. I'd be a Hermeticist, because Hermeticism and Gnosticism are diametrically opposed. And some of the names I've thrown out there, like William Blake and Carl Jung, they've been mistakenly thought of as Gnostics. It's because the Gnostic cultists tried to co-opt their work in an act of massive disingenuousness. But as a matter of fact, Hermeticism is more important. And Hermeticism, of course, doesn't think of the earth or the world as anything evil. You've seen these Leonardo da Vinci pictures of man spread out like a pentagram.
Yeah.
And the pentagram is the phi ratio, the way leaves grow, the way the earth is. It's the number of the earth. So if somebody's pointing out that man is that, then they're Hermeticists, that the earth and man are one. The Gnostic is, we're caught in the cage of the earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
With archons.
It's just victim. We're just victims. We're just broken victims. Just deal with it.
Or that we're ruled over by these archons. Yeah, you are. It's called yourself.
Right.
Yeah, there's an archon, all right. He's not up there. He's right in here in your heart. The way you see the world. Maya, I've put this into so many works, right? Alvin Boyd Kuhn's description of Maya, illusion, is the illusion by which you see the world. The fact that you think the world is lower is the Maya, not that the world is lower.
Oh, it's a percent.
Download that. Download that. There's freedom. Did you feel some shackles coming off? Did you feel your spine clicking into place? My false perception is the Maya, not the perceived.
You're not going to be here in this physical body forever. So that I wanted to make sure that I put that on the table.
It is so important. And the thing to realize is that because I'm a personalist, right? It's a whole philosophy. Wrote a book on it. And it kicks off with what you just said. And that is, unless you really understand that the soul is yours, it doesn't even start. When you say words that have a very heavy metaphysical aura around them, like spirit, soul, God, all the rest of it, Geist, it's all very big, isn't it? We went into this in Path of the Fool. It's all out of reach. It's all august, and you hear trumpets and organs and Bach symphonies, right?
It's abstract, right?
It's a very small thing. It's a little light. It's a little candlelight, and it belongs to you. It is the only thing that belongs to you. This is what we call soul. S-O-L. I don't care how you spell it, right?
Right. And
there's a million ways.
We give our soul away.
Right.
How all the ways we give
But through our thinking. Through our thinking. Right? Everyone's got a soul. Fuck everyone. I want to know about you. Do you know you own this thing? Now, and then when you really unpack that, you find out that the body is the incarnated version of that thing you own. And boy, do you own it. But do you care for it? Right? So this nutter that I was telling you about was doing all the right things according to the manual of the inauthentic life, but it rang inauthentic. And it was done as a uncaring thing, right? It was done in a very functionalized, despiritualized way. The same procedure could be done by somebody who's in total state of care. You know, how you relate to your body, how you think of it, how you sweat out all the self-hate from your parasympathetics. Right? You have meridians, you have cells, you have marrow. Do you realize the pain and anger and torture from the adultism of your childhood, all the other upsets of the girlfriend, boyfriend, the beatings in school, the teachers, all the shame that you've been feeling? It's all there. It's not in the mind. Let's get that real clear. It's not in the mind. What you have in the mind is a completely abstract memory of it, which is a way to live it. You live in that Apollonian state because the reality of it in your marrow, you can't face. So soul is purification. The next thing I'd say is that it's the care of the soul means the purification of your system, of all debris, all detritus. You see, all the flotsam and jetsam of the worldly existence. Your work, the great work, is to purify. That's what I say is the shadow work, the holy work. Jesus, there's so many people have ludicrous interpretations of that. The shadow is anything that's cast into shadow. Well, guess what's been cast into shadow? The this tangible thing right here. And so whether you want to do it this way or you want to do it that way, that I leave you to, fasting, whatever, all of those things are self-discovery. Nobody can write a manual. They can guide you, along. But how you actually synthesize it all is very much yourself. It's no good eating all the best food when you're not even aware of the fluorescence, the mercury, the noise of your house, the refrigerators, the high ELF waves. Let's get into it, right? So, you say, well, I do this, I avoid all of that. Yeah, but you're not avoiding all of these other things. So this now takes you on a journey. It's incredibly comprehensive. What about those sounds of the city? Don't you think that they entrain your mind? The buzzes, the hums of the electromagnetism around you? Do you really want it? Are you grounded? Are your feet on the ground? I bet you they're not. You say, we're going to go in, we're going to shake you down, right? This is real martial arts. This is the real Aikido. So somebody goes, well, I do all this. Yeah, but that's A, B, and C. What about C, D, and E? And then the rest of it. It's a monumental task to come into that equilibrium that you're talking about. But the main point is that you'll never inherit soul unless you know it's yours. And you absolutely treat it like it is yours in the most precious way. Not something in the attic or the dungeon, but right with you, with whom you have a direct conversation. You let it speak as much as it will let you speak, and you move from that point on. And you keep it private. That's what's personalism, right? Mm-hmm. And then it will guide you and tell you how to navigate, right? Through the rocks, otherwise you crash and that's it. You're dead. The first rock comes up and you're done. So the soul is a guide, call it the archetypes, whatever, right? But unless you personalized it, unless you know that it is yours, and it's like clay that you've been given at the beginning of your life, the spirit is waiting for you to create a masterpiece with it. If you come back with the same hunk of stuff they gave you at the end, they're going to go, what the hell were you alive for? Well, it's modern art. Then I got to fall for that. Mm. You're given that sculpture, right? The self must be, the soul is not one thing. You see, it's a canvas, a blank canvas on which you're meant to create yourself, the image of yourself. Mm. And you've been given, as we said in the beginning, total freedom to produce a work of great art or some slop. You have the freedom to do that, but there will be consequences later on. To that, and one could unpack that even further, but it definitely includes the soma as well as the psyche. And when it comes to the despicable experiences that you've had, that we've embodied, because as children we didn't know what to do, right? So you have to do the sanitizing process of unleashing and releasing all of that from not just your mind, but from your body. Yes. And that kind of purity then allows other forces to come and guide you and direct you. That's the real holy work, and that's the real shadow work, actually.